All right, welcome back to Twin Terror. I'm David,
And I'm Gary.
and we record this on Tuesday, February 18th at 6:40 p.m. Pacific
It
time.
is 6:40 p.m. Pacific time.
It's 6:40 p.m. Pacific time.
So, have you heard the news?
The news?
Yes.
Gosh,
Did you
Call, what news are you
know
talking about?
the problem between Russia and Ukraine is all Ukraine's fault?
Oh, that news. No.
Yes. Basically, Trump is blaming Zelensky for the ongoing war in Ukraine. That it's
Yeah, if Zelensky would just surrender, there wouldn't be a war.
well, exactly. It's Zelensky's fault that the war has gone on for as long as it has.
How dare he
And
defend himself?
he should have just made a deal. You should have never started it. You should have made a deal. And of course, that comment is getting all sorts of pushback from the European Union and other people that have been supporting Ukraine.
I can't imagine why.
Yeah, you know, I'm reading Politico. It's saying the comment, ignoring that it was Russia that invaded Ukraine without provocation 3 years ago this month, was Trump's harshest condemnation to date of the Ukrainian side. Trump also is interested in forcing elections in the Ukraine as part of any diplomatic resolution to the war.
Okay, so based on the reading I did just the other day about rare earth metals, and Trump wants Canada's rare earth metals as shared by Justin Trudeau, the Prime Minister, basically saying he's serious about this 51st state nonsense because he wants our rare earth minerals. Yep. Greenland, underneath their ice sheet, is loaded with rare earth minerals. The fact that the Trump administration envoy to Ukraine tried to slip a piece of paper to Zelensky saying, why don't you give us all your minerals with no security guarantees and no just basically, give us half your your money.
That's what he wants. He wants half of Ukraine's rare earth mineral rights as payment for aid already received without any future security guarantee.
Now, mind you, this is aid. I don't believe it was a lend-lease program or a loan. This is aid. It's given freely. And the U.S. benefits by this because you're destroying what was considered the second largest or second best army on the planet, second to ours. It turns out it really wasn't. It's not
Russia has proved that they are the second best army in Ukraine.
In Ukraine, yes. I'm about to hit you with that little joke there. Trump was the one during the campaign. It's like, I would do it as a lend-lease program. So he was still on this whole minerals thing. That's why he wanted to buy Greenland the first time. And so now he just wants all of Ukraine's minerals. And there's this whole thing about, Ukraine started it and they need new elections. Basically, Zelensky told him to go pound sand. So now he wants a different leader in there that hopefully he can bully into giving him what he wants because he's a big baby.
Well, and you've got the right two people. You've got the right two people in your camp. You got Putin and you got Musk. Two people that know how to rig an election, right?
Jeez. And Musk has been pro-Russia for years during this war. And this is just
really disturbing.
Yeah, it's a mess.
But there once again, there is kind of a silver lining to this. It's similar to what's happening in Canada. The folks in Ukraine talk about, you want to galvanize a population. Tell them that it's your fault that you got invaded and you're going to give up half of your mineral right wealth to the person who's telling you it's your fault.
All I can say is Russia galvanized the Ukrainian people. They didn't need the U.S. piling on.
Yeah.
But this is going to galvanize the EU.
Yeah, that's true too.
So Trump, the great divider, as a consequence of his divisional efforts, is actually uniting other people. And it's the United States that's the villain in this story.
Yep. the divided states of America. I can't
I don't
imagine
want to be the villain. I don't want to be the bad guy.
Well, it's kind of one of those things where outside of MAGA, who really thinks that this is a good idea? I mean, anyone who can play the tape to the end realizes that Ukraine has done the United States a huge favor because they have a couple things. They've weakened the Russian army tremendously,
Yes.
and they've also shown modern warfare tactics. You know, the advent of drone warfare is changing everything.
Not that the U.S., the U.S. was not the leader in drone warfare, but I can assure you that everything that Ukraine's gone through, the U.S. is getting up to speed as fast as they freaking can because this is showing them the pitfalls and the shortcomings of our current military preparedness. Yeah, that too. Our doctrine and stuff like that. The world's changed. It's a very different world after this war.
Absolutely, no question about that. So, and then Cash Peters had just done a video where
Cash Peters,
where it shows Trump and Putin as their stick figures getting bigger and bigger, and Zelensky's is getting smaller and smaller. And Zelensky basically takes his little mineral rights, puts it on his shoulder like a backpack, and walks off the page. Says, "Okay, see you later, suckers." So basically, they pushed too far, and Zelensky said, "No, no deal." That's what his readings were saying.
And it sure looks like the EU is going to step up and supplant what the U.S. was doing. So there's no reason for Zelensky. Apparently, France might have given them some assurances, but basically, Zelensky told them to pound sand. And the EU is going to continue supporting. So Zelensky doesn't have to negotiate from a point of weakness with the U.S. supporting Russia.
Yeah. God, Lord help us. Okay, so we should probably start throwing cards. Okay, here we are. Okay, let's look at the current energy with Zelensky in Ukraine regarding Trump's comments about how it's all their fault and it's their fault that this war has gone on for 3 years. Foundation of the reading is the Eight of Swords. It's they're feeling trapped. You know, you've got one of your main allies telling you it's your fault. And it's just like, what did we do to deserve this? You've just tied us up. You know, the negotiations right now, it's basically Trump and Putin deciding how this war is going to end. Like Zelensky's got you saying it.
This is like an abusive relationship.
It is. The cross is the death card. They're trying to end this conflict, trying to end all the death going on. Oh my God, look at all the swords. Yeah. The energy underneath is just trying to put an end to everything. But it's also trying to put an end to Zelensky. It's trying to put an end to Ukraine. It's their sovereignty and their mineral wealth, the wealth of the nation. They're trying to end all this stuff. In the past, the Two of Wands, they were out there and they were making decisions. Ukraine, they could have tried to negotiate. They chose to fight back, and they had the world supporting them. You know
what? I think this is also just showing this is exactly why Russia was invading Ukraine in the first place. This is what they wanted. They wanted to get to Ukraine for their resources and pillage it.
That makes great sense because Putin and Trump see eye to eye.
Sure.
And
because Putin tells Trump what to do and how to do it, and then tells him, uses the carrot that knows that work with Trump.
Interesting. Okay, so the current energy is temperance. It's finding that emotional balance. This in the reading that I did that came out today, this was the outcome of that plane, that Gulfstream that was flying into Russia. The outcome of that was temperance. I went for a walk after I did the reading, and I was thinking about that card, thinking, I wonder if the temperance card was that whatever information or whatever was on that aircraft that got delivered to Moscow, somehow if Zelensky knew about it and that because he had knowledge of this brought balance to this negotiation. And here the current energy is the temperance card. So I suspect that Zelensky's got more information, he's got more knowledge of what's going on that gives him a balance, gives him something to stand on. Overarching energy is the lover card. The relationship between the EU and Ukraine is growing stronger.
You know who your allies are.
What was that, English?
Sorry, there's yawning. You know who your allies are at this point.
Yeah, exactly. Lesson to be learned: don't make a deal with the devil.
And you know who your allies aren't.
Yeah. You know,
again, look at the symmetry of those, or the opposite symmetry of those two cards.
Oh yeah,
the lovers and the devil. They're identical, except for some obvious differences.
Right, and you know, if you're from Ukraine and you're watching this, please know there's a lot of Americans that are really supporting you.
But the majority.
Yeah, this Trump thing is not how we feel. This is how Trump feels, and his MAGA base are being told that this is the right way to feel. Outcome. Four of Wands. People coming together to celebrate. This could be Ukraine and the EU forming a much stronger alliance and a union. You know, this is in the European Union's backyard. If they can't defend Ukraine, who's next, right? So it's in their best interest to work together, and they can celebrate their victories.
Yeah, you know, Poland's itchy. Poland is itching to get in this conflict. They've been buying U.S. Patriot systems and all sorts of U.S. military equipment. I think Poland's got a bone to pick with, maybe not so much Germany, because Germany obviously invaded Poland in 1939, but when Russia came in, they didn't liberate Poland. They just put their own people in charge.
Yeah.
And I think Poland's got they got a bone to pick with Russia.
Yeah, a little chip on the shoulder there.
Yeah. And they wouldn't mind paying back Russia a whole lot bit, I think, for now. That's speculation on my part. This is just how would I feel if I was in Poland. Like, hooray, Russia's coming to liberate us. And no, instead they enslave us for another 50 years.
Yeah.
You bastards.
Yep. Your turn.
Okay. What am I going to read on? I'm going to look on the strength of the EU or the weakness of Donald Trump.
We could do both.
Yeah, but which one do you want to do? And I'll do the other.
I'll do the weakness of Donald Trump. You can do the strength of the EU.
Yeah, I want to look at so this again, silver lining. This gives an opening to the EU to really step up. And Belle of the Ranch actually did one of her videos today was discussing this issue, is that Donald Trump wants to pull the U.S. out of NATO or make us less prominent in NATO, and this is kind of what's going to happen, because now the EU is stepping up and they're not waiting for the US to lead. The EU is going to lead. And that's super, unintended consequences of this. This can give the US the opportunity to back off its need to be everybody, the policeman of the world, and get us closer to being the EMT of the world. And this is forcing EU members to step up and lead. So let's look at that energy of EU leaders wanting to step up and lead in this instance. Okay. It's a nightmare, the anxiety that's coming through, and then it's obvious what they need to do. I think there's been, Trump's always been complaining about the EU, they're not paying enough. The US pays a lot. There's a lot of anxiety. This could be Ukraine anxiety because the U.S., especially under Trump administration, the Republicans have been withholding money and funding, but they're learning who's on their side. Now, again, they could be, and this could also be the leaders of the EU like, I can't believe that we're being forced into this. But now they understand what they need to do. And it's going to cost them money to do it, but they're going to lead it. And there's your Lovers card, which was the overarching energy. In the past, this is the Lovers card. I think the folks in the EU, they're not used to being in this position. They're used to the US leading. And now this is their opportunity, their day to shine. This is their opportunity to help Ukraine out. Current situation with that, it feels like there's an abandonment from the U.S. This is the thing that we struggle in the U.S. with the conservatives is this laissez-faire. That's a European problem, isolationism that the U.S. does. And in this case, the U.S. is like walking away, but that walking away is giving a huge opportunity for France, for Germany, and other EU countries to step up. It's a world thing. This, in some ways, this strengthens the EU and makes them a more prominent world player because the US isn't carrying the load in this case. The lesson to be learned, back to the Temperance card, the integration. Temperance is about detoxification, integration. It's a slow process. This is the soup that's on the desk on your stovetop that's going to simmer for a couple hours while all the ingredients start mixing and blending, and the components are making something more than the individual pieces. This is the EU coming together and taking care of their own as they slowly move away from dependence on the United States. And the outcome is going to be the King of Wands. EU is going to be taking actions. They're no longer going to wait for the U.S. to tell them what to do. They're going to do it themselves.
Yep. Roll up the sleeves and get her done.
And again, it's funny because by the U.S. being the world's policeman, we get to dictate. Oftentimes, we get to dictate the terms of agreements and stuff like that to our liking, and other people just sort of back down on it. When you empower these folks, the U.S. is going to be taking a step back on the world stage as an influential country. In other words, not that we won't be. China and the U.S. will be influential countries for decades to come, but instead of like getting 10 things out of 10 that we want, it might only be 9 out of 10, backing down to 8 out of 10, 7 out of 10. Still, very influential, but just not. You don't get everything you want whenever you want it.
All right.
That's the downside of doing this.
All right. So, what do we need to know about what's going to happen to Trump as a result? Trump and Trump's legacy as a result of his stance of supporting Russia over Ukraine.
Yeah. I don't think this
one card readings.
I don't think this is going to age well.
No, I asked the question, death card comes out. This is the end of the cycle. This is the end of Trump's influence. This is the end of his legacy. He is on the wrong side of history.
Yeah, at least as far as it goes with Russia, Ukraine, and the Trump administration.
Oh, God damn. You saw me shuffle, right? The challenge is the devil. It's just, but this is how Trump is. This is how he operates. He can't,
nonstop corruption.
Yeah, he can't help himself. He looks at the world through a very singular lens. Is how can I make money off of this?
Yeah.
The energy underneath it is the Two of Swords. He had choices. You could stay on the higher vibration, fight the good fight for justice, or you could go for money. You made your choice. You went for the money.
Yep.
In the past, Knight of Wands, you were taking bold actions, saying, "Yep, it's your fault, Ukraine." You should have just made a deal with Putin. That is kind of what he's been saying in the past. That if he would have been around, Russia would have never invaded, and he'll have it done. He'll have the peace negotiated in 24 hours. Well, the current energy is he looks like a Looney Tune. what he's saying makes absolutely no sense. That Ukraine started the war? Are you joking? Why would they start a war in their own country? You know, maybe if they had invaded, their troops were like all over Russia, that you could start saying something. But yeah, that's not quite how it happened. And people are looking at the crazy there. The overarching energy is the Ten of Cups. This is the European Union uniting for Trump. So, okay, since I'm reading on Trump, overarching energy for Trump. Hey, we're just all happy. Trump. To me, this is kind of Trump and Russia. Hey, we're so happy. Everything's going to be great. We're going to get all this wealth, and everything is going to be fun. But the Ten of Cups is also an emotional ending. It's the end of a cycle, of an emotional cycle, where, in this case, maybe, I don't know, could it possibly be a Trump health event as a result of this, or Trump's misguided mental health, thinking that somehow this is a good thing? Feel free to jump in. That card's confusing me a little bit.
He's getting what he wants. He made his choice.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
This is just his legacy. It doesn't have to be the Ten of Coins. That's always your legacy. This is what he wanted. Maybe this is the last thing he needs to do for the U.S. before he kicks the bucket, as it were.
Yeah, exactly. The lesson to be learned is the Six of Cups. That whole nostalgia card. Hey, it's just, we're going to split everything. Me and Vlad, we're pals. We know what's best. This could be another mental health thing where he's retrograding, if you will.
You know what that Ten of Cups is, Gary? Other countries unifying.
Yeah,
coming together.
Yeah. And then this, Eric, it could be, you've got Trump's mental health. He's getting delusional. Everyone's starting to see it. Outcome, Ace of Wands. Okay, a new action will result from this. So, what that action will be, I don't know. Maybe
he'll probably just continue to double down with Vlad.
Yeah, that's true, because that's how Trump does. He doesn't. Yeah. He doesn't ever admit that he's wrong. He's just going to say, sanctions. Maybe he's going to sanction Ukraine. Maybe that's his
tariffs on him. Yeah, and basically, again, I think what he's trying to do is he's trying to force Ukraine to accept his terms. Like, I'll side with Russia if you don't give me all your mineral rights. And they're walking away. So now he's going to have to bluster. He's like, Kim Jong-un. He's got to bluster even louder. Nobody's paying attention to me. I'm going to have to threaten nukes type of thing in order to get people to pay attention to me.
Yeah, it's just, he's on the wrong side of history.
Yeah.
We're on the wrong side of history if we don't.
Yeah, we're the bad guys. We're the bad guys in this chapter, or in this story, this book.
Our voices need to be heard. All right. That's all I got.
I got two. Thank you very much for watching this video and supporting our channel. We do appreciate it.
Yeah, so we try for entertainment purposes only, we try our best to give you nothing but uplifting and happy videos every day. Midnight, we release the latest and greatest happy, uplifting video. If you like these happy, uplifting videos, give us a thumbs up. Leave a comment to tell us how happy and uplifted you feel.
Isn't this the problem that they ran into with the producers? That they were trying to tank the movie, so they wanted to make a comedy about Hitler on ice or something like that.
Yeah. The producers, they realized that they can make more money if a play fails than if it's successful. So they wrote a play that was absolutely bound to fail. It was springtime for Hitler.
Hitler in Germany, yes.
And it turned out, initially it was doing terrible, and it was going to close, and they were all happy because it was doing terrible. And then some critic wrote about, oh, I get it. It's kind of a farce. It's like a satire. and it became hugely, immensely popular and a great big hit on Broadway, which is exactly what they didn't want.
Love Mel Brooks. All right. Thank you again, everyone. We'll catch on the next video. Take care. Oh, wait.
Yes. Don't forget the secret card. Today's secret card is the Knight of Cups, that false friend. Oh, I'll protect you for half your mineral rights.
Yeah. No, he didn't even offer to protect him. He just wanted to have the mineral rights.
Yeah. For the protection we provided you so far. Let's not be false friends. Let's be genuine friends. There's a lot of people have really suffered over there, and this is a terrible, terrible messaging to send to them and our allies that we're willing to turn our backs on them because we might be able to make a little bit of money.
Yeah, because you can't trust the U.S. But again, I think on the positive side, it makes for a stronger, more unified EU, which means the U.S. doesn't bully everybody around the world. We have to start being a better neighbor.
Wouldn't that be lovely?
Yeah, in the long run, that's best for humanity. Yeah. You don't want somebody to be the biggest, strongest kid, because that kid could be a bully, as evidenced by our current leader.
Yeah, indeed.
All right. All right, everyone. Take care. We'll catch you later. All right. Take care.
Bye, folks.